From Reese Witherspoon ending her marriage of 11 years, to Mackenzie Edwards having to file for a restraining order from her ex, these are the biggest celebrity divorces of 2023. Starting with one that hit us the hardest. I think we all stopped believing in love on March 24, 2023. That's when people broke the news that Hollywood sweetheart Reese Witherspoon and her husband Jim Toth were calling it quits after 11 years of being together. While talking to the Weekly magazine, the ex-couple revealed that they'd reached the decision after a great deal of care and consideration. The duo added that they'd enjoyed many wonderful years together and are moving forward with deep love, kindness, and mutual respect for everything they've created as a couple. Both Reese and Toth are all about prioritizing their son during this difficult time. While most divorces are messy, that's not what's happening here. According to a source, these two are the best of friends, and it's an amicable decision. More importantly, the pair is super committed to co-parenting together and making this as smooth as possible for everyone.
So a line got drawn in the sand and it got crossed, and my brain just switched, and I knew it was going to be very difficult, but I just couldn't go any further.
Gotta say, this is one of the most drama-free divorces in Hollywood. Maybe Ne-Yo and Crystal Renee should take a page out of their book. Everyone and their grandma saw this one coming from a mile away. The So Sick singer and his wife first tied the knot in 2015, but then they parted ways in 2020, only to come back to each other during the pandemic. That led to their remarriage in March of 2022. But just when everyone thought that maybe a happily ever after is in the cards for them, the couple announced the end of their 7-year marriage in August later that year. For good this time. Or in their words, irretrievably broken with no hope for reconciliation. Why so sure this time? Well, Ne-Yo fathering a kid with another woman might have something to do with it. A mistake he's paying up for now. The details of the divorce were finalized on February 2nd this year. According to the documents obtained from the Superior Court of Fulton County in Georgia's Family Division, the judge decided in favor of a total divorce. Now, Renee might not be walking away with a ring on her finger, but with a $5,000 alimony check for the next 3 years, she can put her financial woes to rest. Heck, the divorce might just be the best thing to happen to her since she's getting $1.6 million to balance out the division of their real estate holdings and the key to one of the couple's gorgeous Georgia homes, with $20,000 to cover the moving expenses. Ne-Yo will also be paying the American entrepreneur $150,000 to buy her own car. I guess he couldn't give up his precious Bentley Bentayga. The She Knows singer will also be writing checks for $12,000 to cover the kids' school expenses. Speaking of the kids, the ex-couple will share joint custody of their 3 kids. Hey, at least they figured out they don't work. Some folks need 3 tries before they can take a hint. I'm talking about Chantel Van Satten and Victor Webster's recent divorce. These two were married 3 times before they called it quits for good. According to court documents, it was the Summer Villa actor who filed for divorce on April 10th this year. The reason? Irreconcilable differences. It's a shame considering none of us expected a proposal 2,000 feet in the air to turn out this way. Yeah, Webster popped the question when the two were on a hiking trip in February 2021. Unfortunately, the One Tree Hill alum could only enjoy the engagement for so long, since her grandfather passed away shortly after. In her grief, she convinced Victor for a spontaneous civil ceremony on her grandparents' anniversary. The two were married for 63 years, and Chantel clearly wanted the same for herself, and this was her way of trying to jinx things. After civil ceremony, the couple said their vows for a second time in Napa, California in October 2021, and then for the 3rd time in their Minnesota hometown with their friends and family. But even 3 trips to the altar couldn't change the course of this relationship. We've yet to see the aftermath of the divorce, but considering that the 37-year-old has deleted all her socials, I'm guessing she's not taking it too well. Well, at least she's not in rehab, which is not something I can say for one Nickelodeon star. Does the name Drake Bell ring any bells? He and his wife of 4 years, Janet Von Schmeling, have called it quits. According to a report from People, the split happened a few months ago. Janet was kind enough to clear up that confusion for us by saying that they parted ways in November 2022 and has since deleted Instagram post. Now, the news did confuse some folks. Dating in 2013, exchanging vows in 2018, and then welcoming a kid the same year. These two seem to be riding into the sunset. So, what went wrong? Well, the Daily Mail cleared up that confusion as the tabloid published some concerning photos of Drake break. After the article from People, the pictures were from December 2022 that showed Bell inhaling balloons in his car, which, by the way, was parked outside a California vape store. Oh, and the worst part, his son was in the back seat. Not the most responsible parenting, is it now? And that's exactly why Von Schmeling decided to pack her bags. According to a source, she simply had enough. Meanwhile, Drake needed to take some time and focus on his health. He has since then been getting help for addiction. At least he knows he's the problem and is working to improve himself. I can't say the same about Michael Halterman, though. His wife, Amy Slayton, had to file for an emergency protective order. News about their split started circulating back in February this year. It didn't go down pretty, to say the least. According to the U.S. Sun, 911 received a dispatch call from Amy on February 24th. Apparently, Michael had become violent and was throwing things around following an argument about separating, with their kids Gage, age 2, and Glenn, just 8 months old, in the house. Back then, Slayton wanted to separate, but Halterman didn't, and he made sure he got his point across. Interestingly, he had a change of heart 17 days later, because he was the one filing for the dissolution of the marriage. That said, it's been a troubling time for the YouTuber, to say the least. She moved out after the fight, and has since then been shacking up with her sister Tammy, all the while fighting a domestic violence case as a single mom. Maybe she can find comfort in the fact that she's not the only reality TV star going through it. Real Housewives of Atlanta star Drew Sidora and husband Ralph Pittman recently broke a lot of fans' hearts by announcing their split. That's 9 years of marriage down the drain. Pittman filed for divorce on February 27th this year, saying in cold hard words that there's no chance or hope of reconciliation. While the news is shocking for a lot of people, the couple didn't reach this point overnight. According to a source, the pair had been working on repairing their marriage for 3 years now, all the while opening their home for millions of viewers. But in the end, they decided it was just too broken to fix. Sidora and Pittman had been to marriage counseling before following a brief separation, back when Ralph was getting chummy with his assistant in season 14, and it did work, but I'm guessing the second time is not the charm for everyone. Right now, Ralph is gunning for joint physical and legal custody of the couple's 2 kids. It's a developing situation, but the one thing I can say for sure is that there are no phone threats or social media callouts happening here. Yeah, that's kind of the story with Ryan and Mackenzie Edwards. Mackenzie filed for divorce on February 27th and was even granted a restraining order against the former Teen Mom OG star. Why the restraining order? Well, Ryan accused Mackenzie of cheating on him and then followed it up with a threatening phone call. Oh, and if any of you Teen Mom OG fans think this is just the work of the rumor, well, allow me to clear it up. It's not. Ryan laid out the accusations on social media for the entire world to see, and that phone call, a police report obtained by the US Magazine verified that. This wouldn't be the first time that Ryan aired his dirty laundry before the entire world. Back in January, he commented on one of Mackenzie's Instagram posts saying, "I'm not proud of being married to someone that stays out in bars." Another time he wrote, "Don't you know what happens when you lay with dogs? Yeah, divorce is the right thing." Yikes! You'd think he'd knock it off with a restraining order, but no. According to the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, the 35-year-old was arrested in violation of the protection order. It's unclear how things will go from here, but one thing's for sure, the 6-year marriage is in the gutter. At the moment, the couple's 2 kids, Jagger 4 and Stella 3, are with Mackenzie. So from Ryan Edwards getting arrested to recent Jim's amicable divorce, these were the biggest celebrity divorces of 2023.